The channel. Want to welcome everybody who's watching this, whether this is something you're watching live or whether you are catching this on the replay. We're really excited to have you here. We got a special treat. It's been a little bit since we've gone live on the channel. We want to correct that here in 2022. Really, the whole purpose of these live streams is to really kind of bring people in. That's the value of being live, is that you can come in here, you can come live, you can collaborate, we can talk, we can chat, and we can ask questions and really try to get to the heart of some of the issues that maybe you're facing as it pertains to particular topics. I got a really great episode today. We are joined live by Brenden Corr. He is the Senior Director of Business Development at Lost Runs Pro. Brenden, thank you so much for joining us here.
Pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having us, Nick. It's exciting to be on and be live to kick off kind of February, kind of hit the new year running, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, a little bit of housekeeping here. If you are watching this live, the way that we're going to do this is if you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. If there's anything that you want to get more clarification on, or you're kind of wondering how this, that, or the other works, feel free to comment down below, chat that in. And when there's an opening here, I'll go ahead and ask those questions, whether it's in the middle or a little bit towards the end, just to make sure that we get everything covered. And if you're watching this on replay, go ahead and comment down below in the comments, and we'll do the exact same thing. We'll come back, we'll answer questions, direct you to the proper resources anywhere that you need to go. This whole premise of these live streams and the whole premise of what we do here on the channel is to help agents have greater agency success, whether it's through strategies, tactics, information, collaboration. We want to help agents have the tools. Even if it's not our tool, we want to help agents direct them into the proper ways that they can grow their agency, have more success doing so as an independent agency. So first question I have for you, Brenden, just real quick, give us the 30,000 foot overview, dive deep as down as you need to, but give us the origin story of Lost Run Pro, what you guys do, how you guys started, and why agents should care.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's see. We were founded in 2019, kind of October-ish. Our founder, Regan Brandt, she actually owns a premium finance company, Columbia Pacific Finance. And what she found was that she was on the losing end of her own business for a product and problem that she had no control over. And so what she found is that at Binding, all these agents were struggling to get lost runs. And she was like, what is going on here? Like, how is this still a problem? What are these lost runs? And the further she dove deep into it, she realized that there was such a disconnect, not only from the insureds having access to their own information readily available, but also the nature at which like everybody had to go through all the hoops and just the full disconnect, cumbersome nature of the process. And so she set out to kind of solve that. And, so she launched in 2019, built the platform out. We won some money through BTV, the Broker Tech Venture Group. They backed us. And then we spent basically absolutely kind of some high power in there. And we spent really a year kind of in beta focus groups, really developing, building out the interface. And we were able to lean very heavily on some of those larger groups for, just kind of, what is the solution? What is the problem? So we can really identify it and truly bring to market the actual solution that we have today. And so, and then we went live last January, kind of fully in and we started with like something like 80 pilot seats. And, we've now got, 1,200 something users, 750 agencies. So it's just been a whirlwind because it's a solution-based product. And I think a lot of people in the commercial space have probably struggled with lost runs at some point or another, or know the struggle. And so when people hear about us, they're like, where have you been? Like, how has it taken this long to get the solution that you guys provide? So that was kind of a real quick down and dirty of how we got started and where we're at today. It's been a fun, very quick kind of go to market, but we've seen a tremendous amount of success already and very quickly.
I was a personal lines producer for 16 years and stayed, if I had to look at the whole lifespan of my quote unquote book of business, it was probably 99% personal lines, 1% commercial. And and it was because of things like lost runs, getting lost runs. You go down the list: lost runs, accord forms, supplementals. I thought this is a bunch of nonsense, and I got my start on personal line side, so I wasn't gonna leave personal lines to go do what I figured was it felt like even something that was even more archaic. And
Right.
loss runs was something that was a big part of that because you'd have to collect these loss runs, and good luck dealing with the previous agency. Good luck getting the right stuff to submit to the carrier. But what you guys are doing is kind of really simplifying that. And I, as I kind of evaluate what you guys do, I think, man, if this was around when I was an agent, then I probably would have written a lot. I would have been a lot more interested in getting into commercial because it would have been one less hurdle that I would have had to have overcome to get into some of these bigger accounts. So,
Yeah.
talk to me a little bit about specifically what you guys do and how how it all works.
Yeah, and it's funny because I hear that all the time. I hear guys who are like, "Oh my gosh, man, I could have won so much more business had you guys been around 3 years ago, 2 years ago." And hey, now I'm just getting back into the commercial space. It's a great time. But yeah, the premise of Loss Run Pro is really, we want to solve kind of two main components of that commercial space. The first is that new business, what we were just talking about. How do we get that? How do we request the loss runs when we're not the incumbent broker, but without needing the insured to go to their incumbent broker? What does that look like? That's that cumbersome process that everybody thinks about. So we solve new business, but then also we have an entire application designed around helping to streamline the renewals. So when an agency controls a book of business, they need to set it out for 60, 90, 120 days from renewal. Those are that's someone's job where they're emailing into carriers to go get their current loss history on that account. We've automated that entire process. So we're kind of broken into two main sections. I think most people, when they hear loss runs, they think of that new business. That's generally the buzz, kind of just,
Yeah,
hey, I want to go win more business. I need loss runs.
yeah.
And so generally what we start with is that, because that's what everybody thinks of. In our platform, we allow the agent or agencies who are using Loss Run Pro, you can create a letter within the platform, send it directly to the insured. Once the insured receives it, they can e-sign it. We've built our own e-signature component. And then once they've signed it, it goes directly to the carrier. So it
Mhm.
bypasses the incumbent broker, basically removing the insured in a lot of ways from the clunky nature of the insurance process. They don't want to have to go to the carrier or their incumbent broker. Once they do, the incumbent broker can block the market. They can withhold the
Yeah.
information. They then know they're shopping. And then on the new business side for the agency who's using Loss Run Pro, through the platform, we can actually track the whole process, start to finish, a digital dashboard that allows the agency, allows the manager to get in and understand where the producers, where the account managers are at in that process. So it truly is kind of a start to finish type program that really can get down to it and track. I mean, loss runs, they're one of the most indicative pieces of an agent or an agency winning new business. And if you don't know where you're at in that process, how can you have a chance at the table or a seat at the table? So it's truly giving people a very valuable tool and resource to start having more opportunities and to go win more business.
So I want to ask a couple newbie
Yeah.
questions. Making I don't want to make any assumptions, and I assume that people who are watching this might have a lot of the same questions. And so, when you say that you can track it, does that mean that? So I submit for loss runs, and I have a dashboard where I can track where things are in the process, because it's sent to the carrier. Are you saying, and these aren't gotcha questions? These are, I mean,
Yeah.
give more context to some of these. Are you saying that the carriers are communicating back to the platform and saying this is where we're at, this is an underwriter, this is with an underwriter, this is with the client, whatever, and you're getting kind of those real time updates?
No, no, we're not there yet. Of course, that would be the goal, and that is a part of our roadmap down the line. But what I mean from a tracking standpoint is that part of that kind of outdated, cumbersome process was, if you needed to get loss runs from a customer, you would create a letter, send it to them. They would have to fax it back, sign it, send it on their letterhead,
Yeah.
but sometimes that process in itself could take a week or two because you
Oh,
needed the
nobody's in a hurry except for you, right?
no one's in a hurry. And so that process alone is so we can track that. We can track how quickly the insured, we know how many times they've been sent a follow-up email. We know once they've signed it, and then we know when it gets sent and delivered to the carriers.
What are
So
you
that's the
seeing?
tracking.
What are you seeing on the? Is it vary by carrier, or are you seeing that response times from carriers, or the time from when I submit it to where I get my loss runs is that average time window is being shortened just because of this process? Or are you seeing it varies by particular carrier to carrier?
Yeah,
How are you guys tracking those metrics, or seeing those results
certainly.
happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing, and just like right out of the gate, is most of our customers right now, we're sitting around about 84% are e-signing the letter within the first 8 business hours.
Okay.
Which just drastically speeds the whole process up, right?
Yeah.
Because who wants to sit, print, scan, fax back, like all of that? That's just nonsense, right? But then, yeah, one step further, we're seeing substantial turnaround times and improvement from the carriers, because what we also know is on a carrier level, this is a very cumbersome process too. It's still very outdated.
It
They're getting
sucks.
they're getting thousands of requests every day for loss runs. How are they sorting it? How many people? How are they responding? And each carrier has its own way. But the nice part is, from us, what we're seeing is that we're around 61% currently of any letters that are submitted through our platform are being returned within 48 business hours.
Wow.
Which is pretty spectacular. Now, of course, every carrier has, like, I mean, we have no legal authority. We can't make them,
Right.
but that also is just showing that carriers are looking for an avenue too to help make this process easier, to get the information to the consumer faster and easier. And so we're finding that they are responding much better to our platform and the requests that are coming through our system.
Well, it's not. I mean, to your point, it's not magic, and you're
No.
not holding people at gunpoint, so to speak, saying, "Give me these loss runs." But what it is allowing people to do, and this is true of any avenue in your agency, whether it's this, or whether it's sales, or whether it's marketing, or hiring, or training, what it really comes down to is there's a process in place that allows it to be. That's a simple process that allows people to go in there with very little minimal thought or effort, do the thing that they need to get done, and results happen. And
Yep.
so many agents and so many people, in agencies, they fail not because they don't have all this out of the other. They fail because there's not an easy process to implement. And so what it sounds like is
No
that
doubt.
this really simplifies that and makes agents way more efficient, allows them to accomplish things that they need to do. Talk to me a little bit about, I know people are going to ask, talk to me about pricing, talk to me about seats,
Yep.
talk to me about, packages and, ribbons and bows and all that stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we make this as simple as possible. I always joke with people, we don't do 100 things, right? Like, we do one thing. We are very specific and we do it very well. And that's can show in the results and in all the groups that we've partnered with. But we're at $300 a year per user. Like, it is simple, man. It's the cheapest investment you can make for your agency.
You spend
You know,
more on
you
that on your lunch in the next 2 days.
So, I mean, I joke about that. I mean, so we do have a monthly. So $300 a year, $29 a month. And that's per user. This is built as an account manager, producer type tool. We have a lot of customization features in there. So that way, as a producer, you can send it from yourself. The email gets coded. It comes from you, custom emails, and so that, but again, I can spend $29, going out to dinner and having a cheeseburger and fries and a drink, So the idea that we've priced it accordingly is that we also want this to be a level playing field, whether you're one of the top 10 PC brokerages in the country, or you're just starting out in commercial, man. It is $300. The point of this is to help make it streamlined and automated for everybody and to simplify the process, man. And I don't know if there's a cheaper product out on the market that directly is correlated to winning new business. I'm not entirely sure, and I'm no mathematician, but I believe it's so far what we're hearing is, our data is showing we're about 77% are paying for their initial investment in the first 3 months.
Sure. I mean, if it helps you win,
Yeah,
one piece of business a year, you
right.
probably on a commercial account, you've probably 5x or 10x that return
Totally.
pretty
Yeah.
easily.
Yeah.
Um, and what I would recommend to anybody, if you're a commercial agent or producer, probably want to lock that up, because I'm gonna tell you right here, Brett, I think you should raise that price immediately. I think that price is probably too low,
It's
honestly.
coming. It is.
So go lock that up now if you can. Where do people find you guys?
They find us at www.lossrunpro.com. We're on Instagram at lossrunpro. And then also you can kind of email me, bcorr@lostrunpro.com. And Nick, just, kind of, the other thing I want to touch on just real quick, if you don't mind, is,
Yeah.
like the new business component, as I was talking about, is such a, it's what people think about, but also like we have an entire renewals section.
Yeah.
Because what we found in our process of working with, Graham Company, IMA, Heffernan, PSF, Holmes Murphy, Connor, all these large agencies, we also found that like your current book of business, like you still need loss runs, that quarterly, that annual, whatever that process for workflows are, and that only around 40% of carriers have a direct portal where you can go download your currently valued loss history. The other 60, 50%, whatever that is for your agency, and it varies, someone's manually emailing. So what does that look like as an agent? So what we did is we built out an entire platform within Loss Run Pro to where you can automate all of those individual requests. So someone in our claims team, you can go in and automate an email that would go to Travelers or Hartford or Cincinnati. If you need loss runs every quarter, you can automate that, and we can build this platform for you guys so you can customize it to go out for up to 6 years. So you are doing the process one time, no more calendar reminders, no more email reminders, Google spreadsheets, whatever people are using. Because what we found is, to your point earlier, we're just trying to make everybody's life simpler. Yeah. Take one process that can be automated and duplicate it multiple times for the next few years. New business is wonderful. It's bringing it in. That's revenue in the door. The renewal section is saving currently spent money, allowing people to be better and more efficient with their current time and with their current tasks so they can focus on other things, managing their risks properly, So it's a two-pronged approach, and we're finding fantastic success with it, man. It's been a game changer for so many agencies. And as you said, at that price point, it's pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, you might as well be giving it away for free, honestly. That's the truth. Now, if you guys have any questions for Brenden, make sure you comment down below in the chat. We'll get to those questions. But I'm going to ask one here, and you may or may not be able to answer this, and that's totally fine. That's the nature of doing things live, and not really. We didn't really prepare anything. That's just the nature.
It's great. I love it.
Like to have a conversation here. So, do you guys foresee yourself getting into anything other than loss runs, whether it be work comp audits or anything else on the commercial side that could also complement what you guys are doing?
Not in the immediate future. Really, kind of as a part of our roadmap, the next 2 year or year and a half, 2 years is really, we want to grow as quickly as possible within the agency space, because then what we can do is we then have leverage to go to some of these carriers that we've already talked to talk about having direct APIs. Because again, it is still clunky for the carriers, and we've talked to a lot of these, and they're looking for a solution as well. But they also need the data, they need the requests, they need all of the information. So from an agency perspective, from a company perspective, we need the growth of the agencies, the people using it, to then go to talk to the Cincinnatis, the Hartfords, the Travelers, all these groups, to say, hey, look at all of these, because that's where then it just becomes incredibly valuable for everybody. So super, super awesome kind of opportunities as we're growing. But yeah, right now we are loss runs, man. Like, we just want to do this, and we do it very well, and we're going to stick to that for now.
That's great. It's a great strategy, honestly.
Yeah.
David asks a question. I'm not sure if you can see it on the screen, but he says, do you guys offer large discounts for a company? And you can kind of
absolutely. Yeah. Happy to work with individual companies, for a larger discount. We've got a lot of kind of national partners that we've worked with on a larger scale, that are rolling it out kind of as we speak. And yeah, it's been a game changer for even these, beyond just the independents. We've even partnered with some of these larger companies across the country that are implementing both the new business and especially that renewals component on a national scale, because, those are the groups that are sending thousands of requests every month. And that's what we're finding.
Do you find that all the carriers that you guys work with will honor your guys' request? As it pretty much, there's a feels like 1 billion commercial carriers out there in specialized markets. Do you guys find that everyone's honoring these requests?
Yeah, for the most part, that's a great question, because it's one I get frequently. And, the idea that every carrier responds within 48 hours. That's that's not the case. Every carrier has their own workflow and how they do it.
Or
And
lack
we
of
do,
work, or lack of
yeah,
workflow is a better way of putting it.
lack of workflow.
Yeah.
I mean, we certainly run into a couple carriers that are kind of, they still play the game. I released it to the incumbent broker, but we do go to bat on behalf of our customers, because we do know that at the end of the day, the carriers, they have a legal obligation to release the information to the insured, and so we do go to bat, after, there is usually in most states a 10-day period after the carrier has received that loss run letter. So then we will go to bat after that 10-day period, or whatever that period is in that state. But then we'll go to bat, track it down, escalate it. And I think right now we're at something like a 97.6% retention rate. So we are absolutely killing it. Of course, there's going to be some that don't, they've gone past their expiration date where they renewed with their incumbent. So we've certainly missed on a couple. But generally, man, we did something like 8,000 loss run requests last year in our first year. And again, like 96.7% or 97.6% retention rate. It's great.
Yeah. What talk to me about the onboarding process. And so I'm an agent. I go, hey, sounds great, perfect, sign me up. Here's my 30 bucks a month.
Yeah.
Talk to me about getting started, getting set up, getting onboarded, and from the time where I punch in the last four of my 16-digit credit card to when I can log in and start submitting for loss run requests. Talk to me about that process.
I mean, that's the beauty of having an online platform like this. Like, if you signed up online today, you can be using it within minutes.
Okay.
LossRunPro.com. And so, Dave, I see your question up there too. If you go to LossRunPro.com, you can also schedule a demo. Or again, you can also email me, bcorr, C-O-R-R, at LossRunPro.com. But once you sign up, whether you sign up by emailing into us or someone in our service team, or you sign up online, what we always do is follow up with an onboarding email. In the onboarding email, it includes kind of some best practices. Here's what to do. Here's how to get set up, your profile. We've got 3 or 4 different kind of 2-3 minute videos that are included. So that way people don't have to do all the reading. But then also what we offer is an additional online training, or a live training that we can do for the entire group. And we usually say people kind of can get up and going on their own. But then, usually maybe a week or two, we say sign up for that live training to where we can then understand the sticking points of the agency or that broker, whoever's using it. And then we can kind of flush out all those additional questions. So, but it is a super, super easy platform to use. That has been one of the things that a lot of our current customers have talked about, is the ease of use and the interface. And as everybody who's probably watching understands, there are plenty of platforms out there that are overly complicated. We wanted this to do that one thing, Nick, again, back to loss runs. And we do that just one thing, and we do it very well. And we wanted this platform to be as streamlined and as efficient as possible, because we know everybody has a lot of different systems they're using, and we didn't need to make it more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah, so I mean, here's your guys' website. It's Loss Run Pro. It's not plural, it's singular. LossRunPro.com.
Correct. Yep.
Request a demo. You can sign up. I'm guessing that there's really not much need for a lot of support when someone signs up. Is that true or false? I mean, is it pretty straightforward?
Very, very, very true. We get a couple questions here and there. But again, the purpose of this is to be streamlined and to make people more efficient. And so when we were building out that interface, it was super important for this to be a sign up and go. We don't want people having to call in and ask questions, because that defeats the purpose of trying to automate a process that is already very clunky for agents and CSRs who want to streamline their workflow process.
So this was my next question. It's unlimited loss run requests, correct? You don't cap that at all?
Absolutely. Yep. Unlimited, and, we typically see, most producers, they're using it a few times a month. That's the goal.
Sure.
But yeah, there's no limit. There's no limit on the renewals as well. We want this to be a tool that can help streamline, again, whether you're an individual or you're a larger agency, that's the goal, is that this can help you guys win more business and become better across the board, and so, yeah, no limits to the loss runs, because hey, if we're successful, you're going to go tell your friends. And if you're winning loss run, you're winning business, you're paying for your investment. And then, of course, like if you're successful, you're going to go tell your friends to come sign up. And that's the goal.
Last question for you, I think, here
Yeah.
before, unless I think of another. And guys, if you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them down in the chat. I know we have a handful of people on here, and again, if you're watching this on replay, make sure you put those down in the comments, and we'll respond to those. Or Brenden will monitor, and he'll respond to them as well, or whoever. Talk to me about integration partners. Talk to me about connectivity. Talk to me about the platform in that sense.
Yeah. Currently, no integrations, no connectivity, because it is a singular platform online. We don't need any integrations with your agency management systems. Again, our focus is going directly to carriers. That's our roadmap. We would love to partner and kind of integrate with agency management systems at some point. It's just, we felt that when we were looking at it, the more valuable component was to go to carriers first and to address that, because that truly is the answer for agents and agencies. How quickly can we get that information? That's far more valuable than having to type in customer name, policy number, and select a carrier. We don't need much information for the platform to work. And so going that direction in terms of integrations with agency management systems wasn't not that it's not a priority. We just felt that the carrier integrations was a far more valuable kind of component to go after first.
I think what would be great down the road when you guys do want to do integrations, I can see it being very valuable even for Better Agency on its AMS to store the loss runs directly in the customer file. I think that would be a really solid integration that we could probably build out here as you guys are ready for that leap. So fantastic. Well, I mean, Brenden, is there anything else you want to add here? I want to make sure people have ample opportunity to ask questions, but is there anything before we kind of wrap this up here that you feel like is really important for people to know? Tell people again how they can
I love it.
contact you.
No, this is, I certainly appreciate the platform, Nick. Thank you so much. I've enjoyed getting to know you and Better Agency as well. So thank you again for the opportunity. I believe we've got the #1 solution on the market. So if you struggle with loss runs, please let us know if we can do a demo, get you up and running. Again, $29 a month, $300 a year. Super simple. It's probably the easiest investment you can make for your agency or for yourself to help you guys have a chance to win more business. I mean, it's super simple. I like to end usually with loss runs are like a set of car keys, man. You don't need them. They're small. We're kind of wondering, hey, where are they until we need them? So I like to say kind of let Loss Run Pro be the key to your success.
That's awesome. Again, how do people contact you?
LossRunPro.com or bcorr, CORR, at LossRunPro.com. We're out of Missoula, Montana. So if you're also ever up here, be sure to let me know. Drop on by. Love to take you out, do a little fly fishing, something fun. So
Missoula, Montana is a hidden gem. It's fantastic. Is it the Big Dipper ice cream?
Big Dipper ice cream right down the street.
Big Dipper ice cream is legit.
It is.
The Huckleberry ice cream if you're ever in town. So.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, Brenden, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing a little bit about what you guys do. Again, if you guys are interested, go check them out, and we'll see you again. We'll try to do these every single month where we bring somebody in. I see Brandon Smith on the
we got Missoula in the house.
Yeah. We try to do these every single month where we bring people on who can help us with agency tactics, whether they are whoever. We believe in agency success here at Better Agency, so we're going to try to bring the people on who are going to help you achieve that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it. If you're in any particular Facebook groups for insurance agents, help get the word out for Loss Run Pro, and we'll see you guys again on the next stream. See you guys soon.